Hello my dear students, in this lecture we are going to see Otto cycle. Otto cycle is also called SI engine cycle. It is also called SI engine cycle. Now my dear students, SI engine cycle means spark ignition engine cycle. It is called spark ignition engine cycle, right? And in this cycle or in this engine, petrol is used as a fuel. In case of Otto cycle or in case of spark ignition engine, petrol is a fuel. Therefore, it is also called petrol cycle. Hence, the Otto cycle is also called SI engine cycle or it is also called petrol cycle. And my dear students, during suction stroke, we can say air plus fuel mixture is taken in. That is, air plus petrol mixture is taken in during the suction stroke in case of Otto cycle. Now, let us understand the cycle. Here, while understanding cycle, we have to understand the engine also, SI engine also. Now, let us draw PV and TS diagram for Otto cycle. Here, we are going to draw PV, that is pressure versus volume, as well as temperature versus entropy diagram, TS diagram, right? With the help of these two diagrams, let us understand Otto cycle. Now, let us draw the piston cylinder assembly. Here, we will see piston cylinder assembly, right? Let us say this is a cylinder. Here, this is a cylinder of engine, and piston is, we have already seen that piston is reciprocating from top dead center to bottom dead center. And let us say here there is a top dead center. This is the extreme position of piston, top dead center, and another extreme position of piston is bottom dead center. Between this bottom dead center and top dead center, piston is reciprocating, and the when your piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center, then it is considered as one stroke of engine. Or when your piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center, it is considered as one stroke, right? And from head of engine to top dead center, this volume is called clearance volume, that already we have learned in previous lectures. This volume is called clearance volume, VC. And my dear students, between top dead center and bottom dead center, this volume is also called displacement volume or swept volume. This volume is also called swept volume or displacement volume, that already we have learned, right? Now, let us say the piston is initially at top dead center. Here, the location of piston is at top dead center, TDC, right? So, let us draw TDC and BDC lines. Means piston reciprocates between top dead center and bottom dead center. This is the maximum possible displacement of piston between TDC and BDC. Now, let us say initially piston is at TDC, top dead center, and this is a zero position. This is a zero position, right? Means inside this piston cylinder mechanism, there is a atmospheric condition. At this zero condition, inside this piston cylinder mechanism, there is a atmospheric condition. Means pressure is atmospheric. There will be a atmospheric pressure, right? Now, let us say at this point, I will open inlet wall. Let us say there is an inlet wall. Here IV stands for inlet wall. Now I will open this inlet wall, right? Now as soon as inlet wall is open, and then I will move this piston from top dead center to bottom dead center. Let us allow the motion of piston from top dead center to bottom dead center. Now while moving this piston from top dead center to bottom dead center, and inlet wall is kept open, then air fuel mixture is taken in. It is called suction stroke. Air fuel mixture, AFM, is taken in, right? Because in case of SI engine or in case of Otto cycle, air plus petrol mixture is taken in during the suction stroke, right? Therefore here will be air fuel mixture is taken in. Therefore piston moves from top dead center to bottom dead center, and during this there will be a suction stroke, and during suction stroke pressure inside cylinder remains constant. That is, the pressure inside cylinder will be atmospheric pressure only. Therefore this air fuel mixture will come in. Here there will be a air fuel mixture, we can say, this is a air fuel mixture will be taken in, right, and piston moves from 0 to 1, let us say 0 to 1, keeping atmospheric pressure constant, keeping atmospheric pressure constant, right. Therefore here we can say P naught, that is P0 is equal to P1 is equal to atmospheric pressure, and 0 to 1 is called suction stroke, and during this suction stroke air fuel mixture is taken in. Now my dear students, as soon as suction is completed, then I will close this inlet valve and exhaust valve is also closed. Now after suction stroke, that is position 1, let us say after suction stroke the temperature is somewhat here, position 1, right. Now I will close inlet as well as exhaust valve. Now the piston is again moved from BDC to TDC reversible adiabatically. Means the piston will move from BDC to TDC very fastly. Reversible adiabatic process means very fast process, that is isentropic process, right. And this process is called compression process. This stroke is called compression stroke, right. When your piston moves from one dead center to another dead center, it is called stroke. Now when your piston moves from bottom dead center to top dead center, keeping inlet as well as exhaust valve closed, then it is called compression stroke, right. And my dear students, as it is a compression stroke, then pressure and temperature must increase, and it is a reversible adiabatic compression, so the process will go like this, the process will go like this, right. The piston will move to the TDC, that is position 2, right, and it is reversible adiabatic compression. Now my dear students, as 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic compression, reversible adiabatic compression is also called isentropic compression, that is it is very fast process, and during this process heat transfer is 0 and entropy is constant. But as it is compression, as it is compression process, pressure must increase, hence temperature must increase, right. And compression means volume must decrease, volume must decrease. Therefore on TS diagram 1 to 2 will go like this, temperature increases keeping entropy constant, keeping entropy constant, because it is a isentropic compression or reversible adiabatic compression, right. Now after compression stroke is completed, now piston is at top dead center, right. Now the temperature at the end of compression, let us say T2, this temperature at the end of compression is equal to T flash temperature, it is equal to flash temperature, and during compression air fuel mixture is compressed, right. Now my dear students, this flash temperature or temperature at the end of compression is not sufficient for self ignition, right. Means the ignition will not start on its own at this T2, at this temperature T2. So we need to apply external agent for the ignition, or we need to provide external agent for the ignition, hence we will apply here spark plug, spark plug, ESP is for spark plug. Now what happens, as this temperature at the end of compression T2 is less than self ignition temperature, we can say self ignition temperature, less than self ignition temperature. So to start ignition we need to apply spark plug. Now this spark plug will offer minute spark here, and as soon as this spark plug gives spark here, minus spark, already the mixture is ready to get ignited already, because the temperature and pressure of mixture is already increased during the compression stroke, and the mixture is ready to get ignite. And as soon as the spark is provided, the mixture will get ignited immediately at TDC only. That means as soon as the spark plug gives spark, there will be ignition starts, and the ignition will complete whenever the piston is at TDC only, right. Means, and during ignition there will be a heat addition, means from 2 to 3, we can say from process 2 to 3 the ignition will complete whenever the piston is at TDC only, right. It is very fast process, ignition is very fast process, within fraction of second the heat will get added whenever piston is at TDC only. And during heat addition, that means here heat is supplied, ignition means heat supplied, as there is a heat supplied, the pressure must increase, therefore inside pressure will increase, keeping volume constant, right? Therefore it is a constant volume heat addition. It is 2 to 3 is constant volume, we can say heat supply or heat addition also, right? And as it is heat addition or heat supply, pressure will increase at constant volume, hence temperature will increase. During this process pressure will increase, temperature will increase, but volume is constant, and as it is heat supplied, entropy must increase. During heat addition entropy always increases. Therefore 2 to 3 will go like this, 2 to 3 will go like this, right? Constant volume, right? And my dear students, 0 to 1 is constant pressure, that we know. 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic, that is PV raised to gamma is equal to constant. 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic, that is PV raised to gamma is constant. 2 to 3 is constant volume. 2 to 3 is constant volume. 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic, means isentropic entropy is constant, and 2 to 3 is constant volume process. It is also called constant volume heat addition process, right? Now after that at the end of compression, you at the end of heat addition, you can see here that is point 3 or position 3 or state 3, we can say. The heat is added, therefore pressure and temperature inside cylinder becomes maximum. That means this P3 will be the maximum pressure in the cycle and T3 will be the maximum temperature inside the cycle, right? Now my dear students, after heat addition, that is at 3, pressure and temperature are maximum and outside pressure is atmospheric pressure, and as inside piston cylinder mechanism there is a pressure is very maximum, therefore this piston again moves from top dead center to bottom dead center very fastly. Therefore we can say 3 to 4 is very fastly, means reversible adiabatic. Fast processes are reversible adiabatic processes. 3 to 4 is reversible adiabatic, and as piston is moving from top dead center to bottom dead center, it is called expansion. Reversible adiabatic expansion. Reversible adiabatic expansion means heat transfer is 0 but entropy is constant. Entropy is constant. And as it is expansion, volume increases, and my dear students, temperature decreases, pressure decreases for reversible adiabatic expansion process. So process 3 to 4 will go like this. On PV diagram 3 to 4 will look like this, right? 3 to 4 it is reversible adiabatic, that is PV raised to gamma is equal to constant, and expansion, right? Now reversible adiabatic expansion means isentropic expansion, and during isentropic expansion temperature decreases at constant entropy. Therefore on TS diagram 3 to 4 will be straight vertical line going downward, right, which is isentropic expansion, right? Now my dear students, at the end of expansion you can observe here, at the end of expansion temperature is T4, which is more than atmospheric temperature, that is temperature at suction, right? As well as at the end of expansion pressure is P4. At the end of expansion pressure is P4, which is more than suction pressure, that is atmospheric pressure, which is more than suction pressure, which is nothing but P1 or P0, which is nothing but atmospheric pressure, right? Means after expansion stroke the piston is at BDC, but pressure inside the cylinder is more than atmospheric pressure. Hence, after expansion, as soon as I open exhaust valve, let us say exhaust valve is now open. EV stands for exhaust valve. As soon as exhaust valve is open, the exhaust gases will go out. The exhaust gases will go out of the piston cylinder mechanism, right? And this happens only when piston is at BDC only. Now my dear students, what happens as pressure at the end of expansion stroke, we can say here P4, pressure at the end of expansion stroke is more than inlet pressure, hence because of this pressure difference the inside cylinder pressure is more, hence as soon as exhaust valve is open the exhaust gases will go out till pressure inside becomes equal to P1, till pressure inside becomes equal to atmospheric pressure. And during this process, that is 4 to 1, during this process, that is 4 to 1, maximum exhaust gases, 90% of exhaust gases, we can say 90% exhaust gases will go out whenever piston is at BDC only, and during this exhaust the maximum heat is rejected from the system. These exhaust gases while leaving the system will carry maximum heat, that is 90% heat is removed whenever piston is at BDC only. Therefore from 4 to 1 is constant volume heat rejection. Now 4 to 1 is constant volume heat rejection, and during constant volume heat rejection we can say here, during constant volume heat rejection, that is 4 to 1, 4 to 1 constant volume heat rejection, right, constant volume heat rejection, as it is constant volume and heat rejection, entropy must decrease, temperature must decrease, as well as pressure must decrease, pressure must decrease, and we have represented the process here. Now my dear students, whenever piston is at BDC and state 1, 4 to 1, right, now at 1 pressure is equal to atmospheric pressure, and piston is again at BDC, means from BDC to TDC there are some exhaust gases also. Now inside this piston cylinder mechanism the remaining 10% exhaust gases are there, 90% exhaust gases are removed from 4 to 1 at BDC only. But to remove these minor exhaust gases, these 10% gases are called minor and 90% gases are called major exhaust gases. Now major exhaust gases are removed at constant volume only, but to remove these minor exhaust gases, that is 10% of exhaust gases, again piston is moved from BDC to TDC at constant pressure process, right, means again there will be a 1 to 0, there will be another cycle, that is 1 to 0, which is called exhaust process or exhaust stroke, right. To remove minor exhaust gases, that is 10% of exhaust gases, piston is moved from bottom dead center to top dead center, and that is 1 to 0, and this stroke is called exhaust stroke, right. Now let us understand the processes here. In case of Otto cycle, we know that from 2 to 3 it is heat addition at constant volume, and 4 to 1 heat rejection at constant volume, means during Otto cycle heat addition and heat rejection are at constant volume processes. Hence Otto cycle is also called constant volume heat addition cycle. And my dear students, during Otto cycle air fuel mixture is compressed, and during suction stroke air fuel mixture is taken in, that is air plus petrol mixture is taken in. Now here at location 0, 2 and 3 the volume is clearance volume, here the volume is clearance volume, right, that is V0 is equal to V2 is equal to V3 is clearance volume, and from top dead center to bottom dead center this volume is swept volume or displacement volume. Therefore at 1 and 4 the volume is clearance volume plus swept volume, at 1 and 4 the volume is clearance volume plus swept volume, right. Now let us understand various processes on Otto cycle. Let us understand these processes and do the analysis of these processes. Here I will keep only PV diagram, here we are going to keep only PV diagram for the analysis. Now let us understand the processes, right. Now first process, the very first process is 0 to 1. 0 to 1 is called suction stroke, it is called suction stroke, and during this suction stroke the atmospheric pressure is constant, that is P0 is equal to P1 is equal to P atmospheric, as well as temperature T0 is equal to T1 is equal to T atmospheric. It is an atmospheric condition for the suction stroke, and air fuel mixture is taken in during suction stroke for Otto cycle, right. Now after that second process is 1 to 2. Now 1 to 2 is very fast process, that is reversible adiabatic compression, right. There is reverse, we can say reversible adiabatic compression, and during this process the entropy will remain constant, that is it is also called isentropic compression, right. Now after that second process 2 to 3 process, third process 2 to 3 process is called constant volume heat supply, sorry, constant volume heat addition, or we can say heat supply or heat addition, right, means during this process heat is supplied at constant volume. Now after that fourth process is 3 to 4. Now this 3 to 4 is reversible adiabatic expansion, reversible adiabatic expansion, and reversible adiabatic is nothing but isentropic. Therefore, it is also called isentropic expansion, that is entropy is constant. And fifth process is 4 to 1, which is called constant volume heat rejection. Constant volume heat rejection, right? Heat is rejected at constant volume. And then last process is called 1 to 0, which is called exhaust stroke, which is called exhaust stroke. And during this exhaust stroke, pressure is again constant, that is P naught is equal to P1 is equal to atmospheric pressure, right? Now let us go for analysis of this cycle. Here we are going to do analysis of this cycle. Now my dear students, 0 to 1 and 1 to 0 is suction and exhaust stroke, which is at constant pressure, which is atmospheric pressure, right? Therefore, for cycle, the cycle you can see here, cycle is from 1 to 2. Here you can see the cycle is from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1. 0 to 1 and 1 to 2, 1 to 0 is not a part of cycle. The cycle is only 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4 and 4 to 1, right? So if I consider 0 to 1 or if I do not consider 0 to 1, there is no problem for the analysis. So while drawing the Otto cycle here onward, this 0 to 1 suction stroke and 1 to 0 exhaust stroke I will not consider. I will consider only 1, 2, 3, 4 cycle, right? So let us go for the consideration. Here I am again drawing the Otto cycle. Whenever drawing the Otto cycle, here I will draw only cycle, that is suction and exhaust. I will not represent, right? So let us draw PV diagram. If I draw PV diagram, now 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic compression. 1 to 2 is reversible adiabatic compression. 2 to 3 is constant volume heat supply. 3 to 4 is reversible adiabatic expansion. 3 to 4 is reversible adiabatic expansion. 4 to 1 is constant volume heat rejection. 4 to 1 is constant volume heat rejection. Now let us do the analysis for various processes. Let us consider process number 1. Let us consider process number 1, right? Here process number 1, 1 to 2. Here at 2 and 3 volume is clearance volume, and at 1 and 4 volume is clearance volume plus swept volume, right? Now first process, that is 1 to 2, is we can say reversible adiabatic compression. Reversible adiabatic compression, which is also called isentropic compression, that is entropy is constant. That is we can say S1 is equal to S2 is equal to constant entropy compression, right? Now as it is reversible adiabatic compression, during this process, that is process 1 to 2, heat will be 0, right? During this process heat will be 0, and the relation or the expression of this process is T2 divided by T1 is equal to P2 divided by P1 raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma is equal to V1 divided by V2 raised to gamma minus 1. Remember this relation for reversible adiabatic processes. Now my dear students, 1 to 2 is compression process, therefore there will be a concept of compression ratio. So we can say compression ratio denoted by RK, compression ratio. It is nothing but the process ratio is always more than 1. That already I have stated in one of the previous lecture. The compression ratio will be equal to V1 divided by V2, which is more than 1. Process ratio is always more than 1. Therefore I can write here RK, which is nothing but V1 divided by V2 is nothing but V1 is Vc plus Vs and V2 is Vc clearance volume, Vs is swept volume. Therefore again RK I can write as 1 plus Vs divided by Vc, right? And my dear students, we know that the clearance ratio C is nothing but this clearance volume divided by swept volume. Clearance ratio C is clearance volume divided by swept volume. Therefore I can say this RK, which is nothing but V1 divided by V2, which is nothing but equal to Vc plus Vs divided by Vc, which is nothing but 1 plus Vs divided by Vc is nothing but 1 plus 1 upon C. 1 plus 1 upon C. This is a compression ratio, right? So my dear students, in case of V1 divided by V2, we can replace with compression ratio RK, right? Therefore this T2 divided by T1 is equal to P2 divided by P1 raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma is equal to V1 divided by V2 raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to Rk raised to gamma minus 1. Right. Therefore, we can write T2 divided by T1 is equal to V1 divided by V2 raised to gamma minus 1, which is nothing but Rk raised to gamma minus 1. This is the first relation. So here I will write this relation is equal to Rk raised to gamma minus 1. Right. Now this is the first process. Right. Now let us go for second process, which is nothing but constant volume heat supply. The second process is constant volume heat supply. And my dear students, this relation, let us say this is the first relation. This is useful later. Later we are going to use this relation. Right. Now let us say the second process, that is 2 to 3, which is called constant volume heat supply or heat addition. Constant volume heat addition or heat supply. As heat is added at constant volume, for constant volume process, the specific heat value is used as Cv, that is specific heat at constant volume. Right. Specific heat value is used as Cv, specific heat at constant volume for constant volume processes. Therefore, heat 2 to 3, which is nothing but heat supplied, is equal to, we can say, mCv T3 minus T2. Right. This is the formula, mCv T3 minus T2. This is the formula to find heat supply during constant volume processes. Let us say this is the equation number 2, which is useful later. Now let us jump for third process, that is 3 to 4. Third process is 3 to 4. Right. Now during 3 to 4, it is a reversible adiabatic expansion, means there is an expansion stroke. There will be an expansion stroke during 3 to 4. It is called reversible adiabatic expansion. Third process 3 to 4 is called reversible adiabatic expansion process. Reversible adiabatic means entropy is constant and heat transfer is 0. Entropy is constant and heat transfer is 0. And my dear students, for this process again we can write T3 divided by T4 is equal to P3 divided by P4 raised to gamma minus 1 upon gamma is equal to V4 divided by V3 raised to gamma minus 1. And as 3 to 4 is an expansion process, there will be an expansion ratio. Therefore, there is a concept of expansion ratio, which is nothing but Re, which is nothing but expansion ratio is nothing but V4 divided by V3. This ratio must be more than 1. The process ratio is always more than 1. Therefore, it is V4 divided by V3. So, my dear students, this expansion ratio Re is nothing but V4 divided by V3. And we know that process 4 to 1 is constant volume process. Therefore, V4 is nothing but V1. And process 2 to 3 is constant volume process. Therefore, this V3 is equal to V2. V1 divided by V2. And V1 divided by V2 is compression ratio. V1 divided by V2 is compression ratio. So, my dear students, here this T3 divided by T4, which is nothing but V4 divided by V3 raised to gamma minus 1, is also called Re raised to Re, expansion ratio raised to gamma minus 1, and expansion ratio is compression ratio, Rk raised to gamma minus 1 is equal to, remember relation number 1, Rk raised to gamma minus 1 is nothing but, this ratio is T2 divided by T1. Remember the relation number 1. So, from this I can write this T3 divided by T4 is equal to T2 divided by T1. Again we can write here T3 divided by T2 is equal to T4 divided by T1. Let us say this is the expression number 3, which is again useful later while deriving efficiency formula. Now next process, that is fourth process, is 4 to 1. During this process, volume will be constant. It is constant volume, we can say heat rejection. During this process, heat is rejected from the system, therefore it is a heat rejection. As it is constant volume heat rejection, the specific heat value we have to use specific heat at constant volume. It is a specific heat at constant volume process Cv. Therefore, heat of process 4 to 1, which is nothing but heat rejected from the process, is equal to mCv T4 minus T1, that is maximum temperature minus minimum temperature. For positive answer, we have to always do maximum temperature minus minimum temperature for this cycle or for this process. Therefore it is a heat rejected from the system mCv T4 minus T1. Let us say this is the expression number 4. Now after doing analysis of the cycle, let us go for calculation of efficiency of the cycle. Let us calculate the efficiency of cycle, right? So my dear students, while calculating efficiency of cycle, efficiency is always performance of a heat. Efficiency is a performance of heat, and efficiency is nothing but output divided by input. So we can say here efficiency of Otto cycle. For any cycle, efficiency is output divided by input. And my dear students, output is always net work output divided by input is heat supplied. Therefore efficiency of Otto cycle, we can say net work output divided by heat supply, which is nothing but work output is heat supply minus heat rejected divided by heat supply. Therefore again efficiency of any cycle becomes heat supply divided by heat supply is 1 minus heat rejected divided by heat supply. This is how we can write efficiency of any cycle. Here for Otto cycle also same valid, right? Now this area enclosed by the cycle, is nothing but net work output, which is nothing but net heat also, that is heat supply minus heat rejected, right? Now let us do the analysis of efficiency of Otto cycle. Now here efficiency of Otto cycle is 1 minus heat rejected divided by heat supply. Now from equation number 4 and 2 we can write the formulas of heat supply and heat rejected, that is 1 minus heat rejected is mCv T4 minus T1 is heat rejected divided by heat supply is mCv T3 minus T2. mCv T3 minus T2 is heat supplied, right? Therefore mCv will get cancelled. Therefore efficiency of Otto cycle is 1 minus T4 minus T1 divided by T3 minus T2. This will be the formula for finding efficiency of Otto cycle. Now let us rearrange the terms. Here what I will do, efficiency of Otto cycle is equal to 1 minus, from numerator I will consider T1 common. So in bracket T4 divided by T1 minus 1, right? T1 if I consider common, divided by, from denominator I will take T2 common, T2. So in bracket T3 divided by T2 minus 1, right? This is how it will come. And in equation number 3, look at the equation number 3, we have proved that T4 divided by T1 is equal to T3 divided by T2. This we have proved. Therefore in numerator this term and this denominator term will get cancelled. So we will remain here, the equation will remain efficiency of Otto cycle is nothing but 1 minus, efficiency of Otto cycle is 1 minus T1 divided by T2. 1 minus T1 divided by T2. And my dear students, 1 to 2 is compression process. This T1 divided by T2, we know that T2 divided by T1 is nothing but Rk raised to gamma minus 1. Therefore T1 divided by T2, if I reciprocate this, if I reverse this, 1 upon Rk raised to gamma minus 1. This is how we have to write. Therefore efficiency of Otto cycle is equal to 1 minus 1 upon Rk raised to gamma minus 1. This is the formula to find efficiency of Otto cycle, which is very much important formula. This efficiency of Otto cycle formula is very much important, my dear students. So here are few points regarding Otto cycle, that in case of Otto cycle, heat addition and heat rejection takes place at constant volume process, right? And here in case of Otto cycle, the fuel usually is petrol and it is a spark ignition cycle. It is also called spark ignition cycle. So let us do some analysis of efficiency or parameters which affect the efficiency of Otto cycle, right? Now we have derived that efficiency of Otto cycle is nothing but 1 minus 1 upon Rk raised to gamma minus 1, where Rk is compression ratio. Rk we know that compression ratio, and this gamma is nothing but ratio of specific heats, that is specific heat at constant pressure divided by specific heat at constant volume, right? Now let us do the analysis. If Rk increases, can I say here keeping gamma constant, let us say if I put gamma constant, ratio of specific heat constant, then as Rk goes on increasing, compression ratio goes on increasing. See, this denominator term goes on increasing, means this total ratio goes on decreasing, and as this factor goes on decreasing, 1 minus goes on increasing, therefore efficiency goes on increasing. As compression ratio goes on increasing, efficiency of Otto cycle goes on increasing, right? And vice versa, that is, as compression ratio goes on decreasing, here as this compression ratio goes on decreasing, this factor 1 upon compression ratio goes on increasing, hence 1 minus this goes on decreasing, therefore efficiency of Otto cycle goes on decreasing. Efficiency of Otto cycle is also called thermal efficiency, right? Other factor is that if Rk, compression ratio, is kept constant, if compression ratio kept constant, then we can vary gamma, we can increase gamma or we can decrease gamma. Now my dear students, if compression ratio is kept constant, compression ratio is more than 1, we know that compression ratio is more than 1, therefore 1 upon compression ratio, this factor is less than 1, less than 1 power anything, see, less than 1, 0.1 power 2, we will get 0.1 into 0.1, which is nothing but 0.01, means it is 0.1 is more than 0.1 power square, definitely we know that, right? Means as gamma, as 1 upon Rk is 1 upon Rk is less than 1, so power increases, this value goes on decreasing, means efficiency, and 1 minus efficiency will go on increasing, therefore as gamma value increases, efficiency of Otto cycle increases, and gamma decreases, efficiency of Otto cycle goes on decreasing, right? So my dear students, let us understand the graph. Here efficiency thermal of Otto cycle versus compression ratio, let us say if compression ratio is 1, 1 upon 1 is 1, 1 power anything is 1, efficiency will become 0, means at compression ratio is equal to 1, efficiency starts from 0. And for, we know that for triatomic gas, gamma of triatomic gas is 1.33, gamma of monoatomic gas, or let us say understand first diatomic gas, gamma of diatomic gas is 1.4, and gamma of monoatomic gas is 1.67. These values we know, right? Therefore as gamma increases, efficiency goes on increasing, right? Therefore here as Rk increases, see, we have proved that as compression ratio goes on increasing, efficiency goes on increasing, as well as gamma goes on increasing, efficiency goes on increasing. Therefore for triatomic gas the graph will be like this. This is for triatomic gas, where gamma is equal to 1.33. Then for diatomic gas, efficiency will be more because gamma is more, it is diatomic gas. Then for monoatomic gas, gamma is more, efficiency is more. For monoatomic gas, gamma is more, efficiency is more, right? This will be the graph. Now as we have seen that as compression ratio increases, efficiency of Otto cycle also increases, as well as gamma increases, efficiency of Otto cycle increases. But my dear students, here we cannot increase this compression ratio beyond particular value. We have some limit because of detonating characteristics of the fuel under consideration, right? Because of detonating characteristics of fuel, this compression ratio we cannot go on increasing, and the maximum compression ratio for Otto cycle is less than 12. The compression ratio varies from 6 to 12 for Otto cycle. Remember this range of compression ratio for Otto cycle, right? And my dear students, in strength of material subject, you have studied one chapter, that is design of pressure vessel. And this IC engine is a cylindrical pressure vessel. IC engine is a cylindrical pressure vessel, and in pressure vessel there is a hoop stress. Hoop stress is equal to PD divided by 2T. It is called hoop stress or circumferential stress, right? And there is a longitudinal stress or axial stress, which is nothing but PD divided by 4T. PD divided by 4T, where, my dear students, in case of Otto cycle, at various points pressure is different, pressure value is different. Now for design we have to consider maximum pressure, means this P will be maximum pressure in the cycle, that is P3, maximum pressure in the cycle, that is P3, right? And D is diameter of cylinder, or diameter of piston also, and T is thickness of cylinder, T is thickness of cylinder, right? These formulas we have to use while designing pressure vessel in strength of material subject. Thank you, dear students. In next lecture we will see numericals on Otto cycle.